welcome to Cowboy Boys Podcast, episode 21.
Wow.
I think. It might be 22. Joining me today is the very beautiful and elusive Alice White and the more, what would you say, the unstoppable,
infallible,
obnoxious,
difficult.
Ivy.
Alexander is the last name I use.
Ivy Alexander.
Yeah.
Ivy, my sister, is the last name, actually. My sister, Ivy.
Ivy
Sissy. Sissy Ivy.
Sissy Ivy.
Sissy Ivy.
I've frequently been called Sissy, actually by several people
And that's
on set, because we call each other Sissy,
Almost exclusively.
because it's just easier,
Just Sissy, you know.
because she is my sister.
and you know the connotations in the adult industry what sissy is.
Yes.
Yes.
Right? I think I
A
do.
lot. Do you?
I think I've seen. For anyone who doesn't know, Alice is what is the official term? Because I would
Whore.
say
Whore.
porn star.
So I don't think I fit porn star because I don't do studio porn.
Oh,
yeah. To
independent?
me, yeah, independent or I think to be a porn star, you have to work with studios and have a porn agent. Or I mean, you can be an independent, whatever, but like you have to work with the mainstream studios. But I do not, and I own my image entirely.
Because I would say there's celebrities who are famous who don't work within the industry, but are like famous outside of it. Like you can. An industry would help you, like even musicians.
Sure.
Some of them, Lil B, the greatest rapper ever. He's not a.
Lil B is so infamous in the adult online content creation community, whatever.
Really?
Okay, so I can't remember the years. It was maybe 2017 to 2018-ish, but Lil B was in every single person. It's like almost like it was a rite of passage. He would come and he would ask, I can't remember if it was your feet or your hand.
I think it was feet.
But
He's
to
a feet
write
guy.
Little B on your feet in pictures. And there were some people had like promises of
Money.
well, he would definitely pay for them, but there were, promises of something bigger coming of it.
That's Lil B.
But
He can put like curses on people. He cursed Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant was really bad for a bunch of seasons until the curse was lifted.
I don't know who that is.
Kevin Durant is a basketball NBA player.
Oh.
But yeah, no, Lil B has powers.
Don't say it like that.
I knew who Kevin Durant was.
Why? Why would you know this?
I don't know. Actually, genuinely,
How
I
do
don't
you
know.
not know is really the question.
I don't watch basketball. Why would I?
That's-
I don't
Right,
watch
fair.
basketball either. I'm just like, I guess
I can name like 3 sports people.
Okay,
That's all I
go.
need.
Number 1.
Michael Jordan,
Okay.
There's
Do
one.
you know what sport does Michael Jordan play?
basketball.
Okay. Number 2.
Kobe, also basketball.
Good job. Do you know Kobe's
He's
last
dead.
name?
Yeah.
No, first name. Do you know? Okay.
Tanya Harding.
There you
Tanya
go.
Harding.
There's 3.
There you go.
So, anyways, I'm saying you
Yeah,
can
yeah.
be famous in an industry even though you don't have industry support. There's like comics who've
Sure.
gotten big outside of it, and then once you're so big, you're basically unstoppable.
Sure, but I'm just saying, like, in a technical sense, I don't think that I would qualify as a porn star simply because I don't feel like I do, like, I tell people I do porn because it's
Yeah.
easier than explaining the whole nuance of it. But within the industry, no one would say, oh, you're a porn girly. You know what I mean? Like, I'm
Yeah, yeah.
I'm an OnlyFans
Stars
girly.
wouldn't call you a star.
No,
Or
it's
would
not.
they?
It's not even about fame or accolades or what? Not infamy. The other one. Yeah,
It's
just
like
it's about
it's a
like,
differentiation between where you work.
It's like what? It's like I don't do porn. So like I don't do.
Yeah, I'm
I
very
don't do.
confused. Please explain
wait, you
yourself.
lost me there.
I don't do mainstream porn.
Okay.
So
She
to
doesn't
someone
go to set where they've like she isn't
different-
hired to show up on set.
Yeah.
She does like. Okay, sorry.
the differentiation is image management and image
Yeah.
ownership and
I was gonna say you do classy farm.
No,
whoa,
stop
whoa,
it there.
classy farm to table, independent.
Farm to table is a great way to
farm to
explain it.
table porn. That
Yeah.
like
It's small batch artisan
Mhm,
porn.
Exactly.
yes. So
But you are famous for it. I've seen you. This is how I know you're famous for it. Is
do tell.
I've scrolling like random threads, and then I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That chick's been in my house.
My very sweet boyfriend, very soon after we started dating, was like, "Hey, I think I saw your sister in a YouTube video," and I was
Oh.
like, "Oh."
Oh,
Actually, I think he said, "I think I saw your sister in a video," and I said, "Explain."
Yeah,
elaborate and do it
because
quickly.
you know the deal, and so
Yeah.
Can I ask how long? Like, did you?
I just burped into the mic.
It doesn't matter.
Cool.
It also is very funny that you're still sitting on that side of the couch. It gives off like I'm emanating a creepy guy
Yeah, I love
or
how you're like squishing into your side of the couch, and and I have to say I'm glad you brought it up because I would like the bit to be over soon. I'm a little warm, and you are radiating so much heat from your body. So now that we've acknowledged it, can you please move?
Yeah.
Thank you.
But I'm very familiar. I've someone who's been to an AVN.
That's right. You've been to AVN. We should talk about AVN.
As someone who's been to an AVN, for anyone who doesn't know, Adult Video is a network. They do every year they do a convention
And an award ceremony.
It's usually in Vegas, right?
It is, yes.
And I really recommend if you like people watching, and I don't know how much tickets are because I got in for free.
Well, how'd you get in for free?
We said we were reporters, media. So I'm in line if you can. So you have a podcast.
That's kind of bullshit. You get in for free, and I paid so much to be there.
Well, you also had a tape.
I did. I had a booth. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
But everyone should at least go to one AVN. It's for the people watching is one, there's beautiful women, porn stars everywhere. There's a lot of like pickup artists, weird guys, like bodybuilders. But the best is like the level of weird super porn fans who are like, I'm here to, and I want everyone
to meet my idol, to talk to the person,
idols,
to talk to the person who I am in love with.
So there's this one man, his name is Wesley, and he's so sweet, and he came by the table maybe 3 times every day.
How many days is this?
3?
3?
3 or 4? 3.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I'm going to be so honest. I had a horrible time at AVN. Having a booth was horrendous. I hated it. It was exhausting. Let me rephrase that. It was super cool to meet some of the people who have been like fans and supporters.
Yeah.
Super cool people watching. Very fun as well. And then like I really am thankful for the opportunity to meet some of the people who I've known for a long time.
Well, I imagine it's like Comic-Con where there's a bunch of people like dressing up and having fun, but it's like, oh, I got to go sell my stupid comics and interact with people.
Also, it was just the AVN I went to was very poorly managed, to be honest. The management and like the event production team was different.
Conventions.
Yeah, and also when you're there as a performer, there's so many different goals. Well, you're on, but you're there for networking. You're there as your performer self, trying to give an opportunity to the people who have been supporting you for so long to like meet you, but you're also like trying so hard you do like a B2B network. You're doing like
butt to
social
butt. B2B, in case you didn't know, stands for butt to butt.
Doing.
I did not know. I'm not I don't know the inside baseball.
So like you're.
I think you did actually know.
I don't know the inside baseball terminology of the porn industry.
Anyway, it's just a lot.
I'm a nofap guy.
You don't.
I love
you
that
don't
for
jerk
you.
off.
I didn't say that.
Oh no! What do you mean no?
I'm trying to. Nofap is like you try not to jerk off.
Oh, okay.
But we're only human.
Yeah, that's true. Do you not jerk off?
I try and go for long periods of time.
Is it like an edging thing?
I bet you could a little bit of that.
That can
Like
be a
it's
lot of fun.
I mean, edging is super fun.
No, but I mean, like I try and like not jerk off because then it feels bad when you do it as a guy.
When you
Jerking
jerk off?
After it's different for multiple guys.
Oh, like afterwards,
like
you're like,
emotionally?
oh, fuck.
Yeah.
I think you might need to go to therapy.
No, a lot of guys agree with me. A lot of guys disagree with me.
A lot of guys might need to go to therapy.
Well, a lot of guys.
I have a question.
Yes.
So you try not. What is a long time for you? You try not to jerk off for a long time. How long do you?
I can usually go like a month and a half or 2 months before I'm like out there.
I don't even last that long. Like
I'm out there at like the bars and I'm like talking. I just like, you ever like see someone and you're like, I have to go talk to them. That like animal magnetism. It's just like my standards lower every single day that I don't do it, which I think is a good, helpful thing.
Like,
because my standards are so impossibly
high. Do you
high.
stop yourself from shitting?
If I don't have like a big one.
Oh, you like.
I'm not gonna.
Go a month and a half.
Well, I just.
That's my record. Not usually.
I genuinely believe. So it has been proven that consistent and like regular masturbation and like release of like actually like finishing helps prevent prostate cancer.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's if you trust the science.
And who trusts that?
If you trust Dr. Fauci and his masturbation papers.
Okay, well, yes, I agree. Big Pharma is to be to be questioned at all times.
Fauci wants your seed.
He wants your vaccinated sperm.
Yeah, he wants your vaccinated sperm.
But yeah, I don't. I mean,
No,
I
it's
don't.
just a personal thing. And
Okay.
I get a sick rush from it.
Okay.
No.
I really have to say, I
like
feel like if you have shame or guilt or some sort of like negative experience after you jerk off,
Do you-
that might be something to investigate.
I grew up Mormon.
I know.
What are
I
you
think that's
talking
why it
about?
might
Do
be
you
something
have
to
to watch
investigate.
porn to jerk off?
No, but it absolutely helps. It's like, do
Really?
you have to watch YouTube to eat?
Yeah, so true.
It's like I could eat a sandwich, but
Okay.
But
So
why the
for
fuck
me-
would I?
My brain is so good at showing, it's so visual. And my
imagine an apple right now and rotate.
I can do it.
Rotate
Oh,
in
I
your
can do it.
mind. Can you see the full color and texture of the apple?
Yes.
Yes.
You have the full imagination.
I can literally see the
I
like
can take a
gradient. I
bite
can
out of
see
that
the
apple.
yellow
Ooh.
spot in it. I can see the waxy.
Can you
I'm
s-
moving
can
the
you
light
smell,
around.
Smell the apple.
No,
Oh, you can't smell.
I cannot smell the apple.
Yeah, I can smell the apple.
All right,
I
then.
can't smell people
think
that
so.
I miss. I can't smell places that I remember. It's actually very upsetting. I
That's a
cannot
Europe-
recall smell.
That's a European thing. Americans are better at smell memories for some reason. I
I'm-
saw
I'm
one
not
TikTok and now I'm
European.
relaying it. What?
I'm not European.
No, I'm just saying it's
Oh, okay.
a European trait that they don't associate with smells as often
Interesting.
as Americans.
I can
do.
remember the way that our hallway smelled in Finland outside of the
See,
apartment.
Europe.
Wow.
But I can't remember. Like there are people that I miss dearly that I can't recall how they smelled.
Mm.
I can smell them on something, but I can't like bring that memory.
That's a hard one for some people. Smell is like trying to imagine a sandwich and then taste it. It's more of an ethereal. But
Okay, yeah.
as a guy,
Yeah,
and I've talked to a lot of guys, and they do agree with me.
this is anecdotal. Anyway, go ahead.
It is anecdotal.
Yeah,
Everything's anecdotal.
Well,
Everything is anecdotal.
I mean, I
That is
guess-
not.
guess-
That
You
is
break down-
inherently not true.
No, if a
Some-
scientist is going to be like, yeah, this is from my research, my anecdotes that I wrote down on a piece of paper.
Not how
From
data
what
I don't
I've
think that's how that word works.
from what I've
data
talked to
works.
with a bunch of guys, the majority of guys will jack off and they'll feel bad after.
But why?
Because I think this is where we get into pseudo bro science.
Okay, I'm ready.
So open up your third eye, like listen to Tool, get rid. Like
Yeah,
this
go
is.
ahead.
I think it's because, as a man, if you are wasting your seed, it feels bad. If you're not like getting a woman pregnant,
Sure.
because it comes from that whole thing where it's like men are so disposable biologically.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be disposable. A man can get like a million women pregnant. One woman can only get pregnant by one guy. So you only need one. You could talk whenever you want.
I know.
Interrupt. You don't have to raise your hand.
How do you feel about coming on a girl's face?
It's not my favorite.
Okay, for the same
Cream
reason?
pies only.
Yes, that's so maybe that's the thing. Maybe since I'm such a cream pie guy,
Maybe.
jacking off feels bad. I have another layer to
I
investigate
love
with my
how
friends.
how much gymnastics men will do instead of just being like, maybe I have some shame related to pleasure and sexuality.
What do you think I'd have to be shameful of? I'm talking about it
You
openly
were
on a
raised
podcast.
Mormon. You feel bad when you jerk off. There's got to be something there.
And here's another thing. Because I feel bad, that makes it feel better. This is like the Republican
Keep going.
the Republican National Convention just
the
happened.
porn, the gay situation.
Yeah,
the gay
And-
face
Situation.
And so everyone was like,
Situation with the gays.
yeah, this is like Grinder.
Yeah, it is. The Super Bowl.
The Grinder
Grindr
Super Bowl is what people were calling
It's
it.
also the pro-dom. The number of pro-doms who I know who made a fat fucking check.
What is a pro dom as opposed to just a dom?
So,
I'm anti dom. I think it's weird.
you're like, what?
Yeah,
It's like a stance that he's against.
yeah. It creeps me out. All those German women in the leather. It's too many tools. I don't like it. Because dom is dom neutral. You're like, I can take it or leave it.
Okay,
What-
so
what is pro
pro-dom
dom?
is professional dominatrix or
Professional.
dom or dominant or whatever word you prefer to use. And so it's
Okay, is there an amateur dominatrix scene?
so a pro-dom is just someone who is paid for their services.
Gotcha.
So it's under the same umbrella of sex work, but it's in the bubble of
Yeah.
in-person work. Some people consider it full service work, some people don't. Some people consider full service work to mean
Street corner.
no, not that.
Do you think there's like a blurry line between masseuses, like a really good, really dig into you masseuse that hurts you,
No. So I
and
think
then like you have to ask the dom, so like, hey, can I get a happy ending since
No.
you're beating me and working my muscles so good?
no. To me,
Working my muscles
intention
so good.
intention is relevant.
Okay.
I think that sex work is not defined. I think that
She has like a whole thesis about
Yeah.
I
this.
have many theses that I'm coming up with on the spot. That's my whole.
mine is I've interviewed probably 10 people about it, and I'd like to do some more. I'd like to actually interview more people who are
Yeah, if you need a Mormon perspective,
I would actually love to get your take on it. I'd also really love to do like man on the street interviews because I want to get like a more random sampling of what people.
Yeah, because
I
she
would
was
love-
doing a couple at AVN, but that's sort of like
yeah, those are
a
real horny
specific
freaks.
population. Yeah,
But-
I'm-
horny freaks or people who make money off of horny
Right.
freaks. So
So, in my opinion, let me see if I can recall this from memory. Sex work is any intentional and any consensual exchange of
Goods and services.
agreed upon. What is it?
basically,
Shit, hold on, let me
if
pull up the definition. Wait,
the
you guys talk about
person
something else.
intentionally
Intent is relevant.
wants the other person, the buyer, to receive sexual pleasure, then
So
that is
cosplay girlies who have a Patreon who are doing like lewd cosplays, but who like differentiate themselves from like OnlyFans girls
Yeah.
or porn. I disagree with that completely. You are intentionally you are selling something
To
with
get
the
guys
intention
horny.
of it being used as a masturbatory aid. You have said this, you give me money, I give you this thing, and you receive sexual pleasure with buyer for this thing.
It's soft.
And to me,
Yeah.
that is sex work. You are exchanging money or
Mhm.
whatever agreed upon terms for something intentionally used for sexual pleasure. It doesn't matter anything beyond that.
They don't know that the guy's gonna get horny looking
For
at
sure
it,
they
though.
do. For sure they do. 100% they do.
You could
It's
argue
like,
that
hey,
they
don't get hard looking at this photo, but I'm giving it to you.
If
But
someone's genuinely
But I took the 12-year-old anime girl and I made her sexy.
Mhm.
if someone genuinely is, I love cosplay and I want to do this and I sell it because it's beautiful and blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. Sure, maybe you do not self-identify as a sex worker. But I mean, if you... I think self-identification is relevant. But anyway, so
Yeah.
all of this is to say, pro-doms are selling their service as a dominant.
And there was a bunch of them at the RNC.
Yes. I will...
And everyone, oh sorry,
No, go ahead.
everyone was like dunking on, be like, look, these repressed Republicans, look how sexual, trying to shame them. And I'm like, you've never been in a conservative, you've never grown up in conservative Utah, and you don't know how good sex is when you think you're going to hell for it. It ramps it up so much better. And I want to tell liberal people, I'm like, I think that's why they have to do all this weird, they have to define it and have all these weird things. Nothing will ever feel as good as being 14 years old and jacking off to a Sears magazine thinking you're going to burn in hell for eternity. That's the best feeling I've ever gotten from sex. That was the high water mark. Everything since then, I'm like, I guess the stakes were kind of high.
Sure. Wow.
That's-
When did you leave Mormonism?
Right around 19 when I was
Oh,
supposed to
wow.
go on a mission, but
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't. Because my whole, long story short, I was just like, I can't teach other people to join this religion if I don't believe it myself.
Good for you.
So then I slept with a lady, and I was like, oh, this is way better than going on a mission. I do regret not going.
not doing this.
I wish I would have gone on a mission because
Why?
I would have probably gone to a different country, most definitely South America, and gotten to 2 years to like interact with another culture. But
Sure.
you live and learn. I also wish I would have joined the military,
What branch?
Marines for like. But the problem is,
You are not stupid enough to join the Marines, buddy.
I know that now.
Yeah, too many fucking brain cells up there.
So
Too much
That's
gray
interesting.
matter.
Why? For the travel of it all.
just for a little experience, but
One of my buddies is a Marine, and he got to spend a long time in Japan, and he loves it. He wants to go back so badly, and then he lived in Hawaii with his wife, and like it just
Must be nice.
super about all
Having a
that.
wife. That sounds sick.
Having a wife, yeah.
speaking of Japan, what's up with them? Why are they all freaks? Why are they all fucking weirdos?
Dude, I feel like
They're disgusting.
Shame is so
Shame is such a huge part
shame
of
is so
sexuality.
relevant to sexuality.
Yes, and it's funny because like people like to I think like a lot of people in online discourse and stuff like to be like, why don't you just admit you're shame? And I'm like, I am shameful of who I am, and you can't hold that over me.
Yeah.
I openly am shameful, and
I openly am shameful, and it's part of it.
and you're not going to take it away from me. You're not going
Yeah.
to shame me into feeling shame.
Exactly.
I like the shame. It feels nasty.
It feels good.
Yeah,
Playing
so-
with shame and guilt is definitely some of the most fun thing you can, some of like the best shit you can do with sex.
So here's one of my personal theories. I have tons of
I
sexual.
have another one.
theories.
I'm ready.
Clearly.
Is it about guilt or shame?
Yes.
Oh, we'll continue yours then.
No, I want to hear yours.
Well, I
No,
think his is changing the topic.
Mine was like a little bit of it's the Mormon guilt thing, but I want to hear yours first. 'Cause mine not fully. I'm still making mine up as I go.
Nice.
The reason that things like political humiliation and degradation and things attacking gender, like sissification, the reason why things like that are so euphoric for certain people is because the relationship between shame and pleasure is deeply, deeply interwoven at a very young age for many people.
That's where I was gonna go. Young age.
And
No, it really was. I just didn't know how to.
all right, Mac. Well, this is on the record.
No, I meant like. Sorry.
No. Yeah.
I'm not Mr. B. I am starting a YouTube channel.
But I think
All right,
that
Doctor Disrespect.
um
I meant like I was thinking about like my theory is when you're I think everyone's like main fetish they get happens at like a pivotal like
Yes,
there's a
developmental
5-minute
stage.
series when you're going through puberty. It's literally like 5 minutes where your brain is like, what do we forgot to do? It's like a last minute thing.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we forgot to figure out what this guy's into or with this lady. And so it's whatever you're staring at.
Yeah, whatever's closest.
So if
whatever
you're staring,
nearby.
if your teacher like has her feet out or something, then it's like you're doomed.
Yeah.
That's
you know what the thing with feet is, right?
I've heard it's right. It's very
in your
similar.
brain.
It's in the pleasure
Which
centers right
sounds
here.
like some shit that people who are into feet would make up.
So yeah, the part of your brain that identifies genitals and the part of your brain that identifies feet.
Ew.
All right.
That's gross.
So for some people, they
don't-
think they're genitals.
they see feet.
They
their
don't have
brain,
the curve in their brain that separates those two, and it's just smooth.
I guess.
And so it's one location.
Exactly.
But so for people, yeah, they literally see feet as genitals. Or I mean, there's lots of other reasons. There's lots of other feet things, but you know.
So continue with your guilt at a young age.
Oh, I just go ahead.
I actually, I don't know if I know. I've always had a question. I've never had anyone to be able to answer.
Ask it.
And my whole thing, I've really always been into extremely skinny women, like kind of like to where I'm like, hey, I'm being a creep about this, like, but like tall, like volleyball players, like not like buff women, but like women with
like
abs,
almost emaciated though.
They, almost.
It
Gets to the point where I'm like,
I used to
ew.
serve that fetish so well. That was like my bread and butter for a hot minute there.
Why?
What is your question?
Well, I'm like, what do you think? Where do you think that comes from? Maybe I think I just made the connection in my mind now that I
What?
said it. Now that I said
What?
it out loud. I think the first magazine I ever got to jerk off to, I was in family vacation in California. I was like 13, and it was, I don't know where my family was, but I got like the hotel room to myself, and there was like a surfing pamphlet, and it was a surfer girl, and they're so in shape. Surfer girls are absolutely
true.
one of the top
Very
tier.
hot,
I just figured out a little bit of myself right now. Like,
Aw,
I've
yay.
asked that question like a dozen times. I'm like, what?
Snaps for Max.
No.
From Max.
So is it strength or low body fat?
I think
Or
it's both.
Both. Okay.
I think it's like an independence.
It's not like a Holocaust thing.
No, that's where it gets gross and
Right.
like
Like how models are like no muscle and no body fat. That's
Yeah.
like weird
but
for you. Like old
it's not-
90s
I wouldn't
models.
say it's
like,
weird. I like Natalie Portman in the 90s, low
Yeah?
cut, low rise. That's what, but
I'm all about low rise.
that's when I grew up.
Hip bones are
I'm
awesome.
old.
I think that I think it's a lot less. I think it can be a lot less direct than that, and I think that things like the way your parents interacted with you around you expressing joy, like little things,
Yeah.
I think influence our sexuality in ways that are a little harder to track, and like a little more nuanced, and I think that they compound over time, and
Especially if you have to hide it. because of a religion or your parents or
yeah, or for any, if you have to conceal any element of like sexual expression, that will absolutely play into like your development, as an adult, how you interact with sexuality as a whole.
I also think that sometimes sex is just a weird thing that our brain does. Like, it's just like, the whole like, oh, humor is where your brain goes to tickle itself. I think sex is where your brain goes to like, I don't know. It's just, sometimes
sex
I think
is a game.
Yeah, it is.
Or
I just think that sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with anything that we could make sense of. It's just like, I like to play dead when I'm having sex. You know what I mean? It's just like, sometimes your brain is fucked up.
No, I think a lot of hot women like to just lay
There's
there.
something, I mean, so
yeah, I'm the best at this.
I think so. Like, yes and no. I disagree.
It's like, oh, I want to be stepped on.
Of course it does weird things, but I think that I actually think that it is. I think we don't have the technology necessarily to dig into the brain enough to understand it, but I think it's understandable. And I understand some people are like, I don't like to dig into it too much, read into it too much. It kind of takes the fun out of it. But for me, it's so fascinating to dig into it and understand it.
What do you mean we don't have the technology? We have brains, and the brain is the whole thing about psychology is like it's examining itself.
Yeah, true.
The technology's all right up here.
We
may have the technology, but we don't have the capacity to manage it.
What technology do you think we would need?
Hold on, that's the whole thing. I don't know, Sissy. Better brain scans, I guess. I don't know. Better like active tracking. But like that's the whole thing, right? With like memory loss as a symptom of like CPTSD. Like
what's CPTSD? CPTSD.
Complex post-traumatic stress disorder.
I don't remember anything before the age of 13. That first magazine. Why are you high-fiving me?
Buddy, I've got some bad news for you.
That's what people have
Were
said.
you molested as a child?
Were you molested?
I don't think so because I can't remember any of them.
Oh, sure. Do you have siblings?
I have one younger sibling.
Okay.
And I never saw anything weird with her. I never saw anything weird at home.
Sure.
You're Mormon. You can't remember anything weird.
I mean, normal Mormon. Here's the thing about Mormons. It's really boring. It's not like...
boring enough to forget 13 years?
Yeah, I don't.
Buddy, you might want to do some deep digging.
I have dug. I haven't found anything. I've asked relatives. I've asked family members.
I got tons of shovels.
Nothing.
I've been digging like
That's
crazy.
Ask me whatever.
Were you like, hey, uncle?
What happened before I was 13?
Did you rape me?
Do you have like photo albums of your if you look at a picture?
Because I
can you
also
remember
don't
what
have
happened?
memories. Like I have like years and years of like chunks of missing memory.
But do you have a good memory?
No, she has a shit.
No,
ass memory.
I have memory loss from like my brain has literally been physiologically changed. I don't have memory.
Yeah, I have a bad memory right now. So I'm like, I don't know.
I don't have a great memory, but I also smoked a obnoxious amount of weed during my brain developmental stages. So I think that like I could have damaged, like I think my brain was probably damaged via trauma.
That's one of those things. If I ever have kids, I'm gonna like smoke weed in front of them. Like, look how cool this is. So they try and avoid it until they're like 25.
I don't know, man. My bestest, beautiful friend, her parents are huge potheads, like Grateful Dead, Kaiwaya.
And did the kids avoid it, or
no? She used to smoke weed, but she stopped recently.
But you got to make it look dorky as like a parent.
So
your kids don't want it, and you got to like, come smoke weed with us.
Come hang out. That's true. Her parents definitely excluded her. So like. Maybe it was like a...
And I don't
know, man.
I'm not a parent.
I don't know how to like... that's something that I want to be a parent at some point in my life. And that is something that I think about a lot is like, how do you...
It's just a dice roll.
Yeah.
Well, I mean...
How do you get your kids to do what you want them to do?
When we were dealing with you...
really hard.
As hard as you possibly can whenever they do something wrong. And then when they do something right, just don't say anything.
When we were trying to manage you, Sissy, in early high school and stuff.
Well, the thing is that you had I'm like a perfect being, so I don't really know. So my sister lived for you.
Go ahead.
So, can I ask a personal question?
Yeah.
How long have you been doing porn?
I've been in online work since 2016.
Okay. What age was that? Can you say, or is it?
Yeah.
I've been 18 for the past decade. This is a lot of porn stars.
Yeah, I've been doing adult stuff since I was 18, and I've been doing online. Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, can I tell you one of my favorite porn stars?
Yeah,
is Gina Gershon.
Okay.
And people are like, ew, and I'm like, she's 46 now, but it's funny because she's like still doing like teen porn.
Yeah. What's great about porn is
one day you'll be booked as like a stepdaughter, like pigtails, and the next day you're like
you're the
teacher. Yeah.
teen to MILF
It's interesting
pipeline.
and frustrating, and a lot of my friends right now are in this weird space of they're not a teen and they don't want to continue to be a 21-year-old, but they're not a MILF, and there's no regular woman porn. There is no I am an adult woman who has sex. There is you are a teen or you are a mother, and it's interesting, and I hate to say it, but it is women being defined in the context of men. Anyway,
I recently found on kink.com a section.
Oh my god, you watch porn?
I know.
That's disgusting.
I know, right? Shame me. And then
use the confessional at my house.
Yeah. I recently found a section, a video about I think it's supposed to be Sleeping Beauty. Mm-hmm. And the evil queen, because there are 12 men and an evil queen and Sleeping Beauty.
7 dwarfs.
Sorry, that's right. 7 dwarfs. I was still on
God. No,
God.
it's Sleeping Beauty. I'm mixing them up. Sorry.
I don't know either. I never watched any of them. Sorry, there was 7 of them. That's why I did air quotes, because I thought they just didn't have enough people show up for the video. Honestly, I was thinking logistically about like on set. Had some cancelers. Yeah. But anyways, it was like the evil queen getting gang raped by Sleeping Beauty's 7 dwarves, and it was they weren't small. They were regular adult, like regular size men.
Damn.
Which I was kind of a bummer. I was kind of excited to see.
That's what you typed in.
Yeah. No. But it was just really cool. I so rarely find like true fantasy porn, because that's what I like. I like Viking porn or like fantasy.
Dude, we were
porn,
talking
like,
about
all that
making
kind of
D&D
stuff.
porn one time.
Yeah, exactly. And so it was so cool to find evil queen, like, and they they stayed in character the whole time. She was
like high fantasy.
Yes. And that's the shit that I want.
Who her like thing is, she's like, I want like a knight in shining armor,
exactly,
and to pull down his codpiece.
Yeah,
and like for it to be accurate.
I find like you can find like monster porn where like a very strong buff bald man is pretending to be like some kind of vile monster, but it's always still just
what do you mean pretending to be a monster?
like crawling on his hands and knees.
He's a man.
Yeah, he's a man.
Oh, sorry.
It's so interesting. For me, it's so much less complicated than that, and it's very like
you don't need the dragons and the magic.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool.
Violate me on a level that would upset the Geneva Convention. We're great.
No, I need more of a sci-fi setting for mine.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, yeah,
I need low gravity and space rockets.
Jesus,
nice.
It's a lot to ask somebody.
It's really,
have a girl over.
It's hard being me.
On one day. So I used to work on porn sets.
Okay.
Like on mainstream sets.
Yeah, I worked
doing what?
I was a PA, so personal assistant. I did
production assistant.
Production assistant.
She's actually phenomenal and honestly crushed it. And every single person she has worked with had the best things. She ran those fucking sets.
I wasn't actually in charge of anything.
But she fucking ran those sets.
Yeah.
My job.
So you're like, this gear needs to be here. These people need to be here. Everyone's tests are in order.
Yeah.
The lighting is here. Craft services, whatever.
Yeah, and I had less actual opinions being enforced and more I heard the opinions and then told the people that need to be told.
She was the enforcer in that way.
It was super fun. I loved it. I loved working on porn sets. It was also very consistent, and it also paid me my full daily wage,
which is really rare for any kind of film set.
Every single mainstream like short film thing I did always paid me less,
pennies on the dollar,
way less, and also was like, but your name will be on it and we'll give you food
exposure.
That was, but anyways.
So you're saying as a woman, porn is where the money is.
Yeah, honestly, as anyone trying to be in,
it doesn't pay men, right? Men get peanuts.
No, they do.
They get paid.
They don't.
Is there a gender gap?
So
there is a gender gap.
So, okay, there is a bit of a gender gap,
but I will
only
say
because there is a risk gap. The risk associated with each performer is different, and generally you are paid based on risk level. If you are doing standard vaginal penetration with it's very basic, very simple scene, you're going to earn less than if you were doing a very complicated scene with like very large toys in your ass, in your anus, because that is a higher risk. If you're doing a scene that involves being restrained, if you're doing a scene like
so you're saying Tom Cruise would be one of the most expensive insurance porn problems.
Yes, because quite literally.
He wants to do it he wants to go up in a plane.
The physical risk incurred is higher generally for the like female-bodied performer. Like if you got a cooter, your risk is a lot higher. Sorry, I'm not talking to the mic. So, like,
No, you're
yes,
good.
there is a pay gap, but it's not really because of gender discrimination. It's because, in general, it is just less risky for people who have penises. Like, it just is.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's why, like, bottoming for gay scenes is very much a different rate than topping and da-da-da-da-da.
Sure.
Sorry.
Anyway, so I was working for Adult Time. And
Adult Time.
that is
Shout out
Stella
Stella
Smut.
Smut.
Shout out
What
Stella Smut. She was the best boss.
That's a great name for a.
Yes.
Well,
and
we
we
also
were-
worked with Casey, so.
Oh, that's true. Casey was also a best boss.
Casey Calvert
Casey
runs
Calvert is
the best sets in porn.
very good sets.
As a director,
very efficient, very
literally, look her. Casey Calvert sets the standard for set experience for cast crew, like everyone.
She's very good at collecting a crew
Huh?
that works well together. Yes,
yeah,
that
that's one of my
beautiful
best friends
woman.
in the whole world.
Oh.
Great person.
Really good person.
But anyways,
really
so
good
I was working
person.
for Adult Time. We were doing a series called Oopsies,
Okay.
which is as ridiculous as you think it might be. And this one was a schoolgirl was being abducted by aliens that were two trans women.
All right.
And yes, you might
Sci-fi.
want to look it up. It's pretty cool. And so we had this set where it was like,
Cannot stand these kinds of complicated premises.
it was, well, the point of Oopsies was to create, you know, those banners at the bottom of Pornhub where it's like a
Yeah.
ridiculous setting? It was those.
It's usually Brian Griffin fucking Lois. Those are the banners I get.
Okay.
Marge and
Yes,
Mo.
but real people.
search history.
But real people.
yeah.
And it's like just like ridiculous things happening and and it's like sped up. You know what I'm talking about? Okay. So yeah, we had this like whole like Kevlar, that material. Yeah, Kevlar, and like we had this like
Is there like a shooting threat?
Not
not
Kevlar. sissy.
Kevlar. What is that stuff called?
What are you talking about?
It's that shiny
Mylar.
Mylar.
Because
That
it's a
was
space
fairly
setting.
close.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it was super cool. And
Military porn is fun though. Anyway, go ahead.
Oh, military.
yeah, that was it. It was an alien abduction. It was very fun.
You were saying you don't like the high production. You're just
Not
like,
high production. High production is one thing.
or not high production, but like the stupid setting. Like, I think because let's go back to the mind of a man. A man usually has to come up with these stupid fantasies. He's like, what if the woman ordered a pizza and then the guy came over to want to fuck? That's the imagination of a
What
man.
if I was going through the TSA line and I had something in my butthole?
Yeah, that's the kind of every porn
was funny.
plot is because a guy can't just. I feel like a woman fantasy is like, oh, a handsome Italian man comes up and
No.
asks me. Oh, I don't know. This is again.
So do you want
it's
to
from
know
the
who watches
perspective-
rape porn?
Who watches what?
Rape porn, like
Oh.
CNC porn.
I would guess women.
Women seek out incredibly like. I'm not sure. So
I think it's kind of similar to the shame thing. It's like
Oh.
fear, because it's that fear.
and
Except that this is fear of safety instead of like physical safety instead of fear of
And
like,
yes,
it is just a fantasy,
right. So CNC porn.
just like the aliens.
Just- well, That one's a little real.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I cannot recall if the statistic is that women watch mostly violent porn or if the watchers of like the demographic of violent porn is women. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I can't remember which way it goes, but predominantly, I actually think it's predominantly that the people who consume that kind of porn are women.
Because anecdotally, I've had sex with a couple women, and
That's
they're
impressive.
they're usually like
Congratulations.
they're like choke me, slap me, hit me, and I'm the guy where I'm like, okay, and I'm like pawing at them. They're like, go harder, and I'm like I don't feel comfortable with this. Like that's
Good
not
for
my.
you for stating your boundaries.
It's not. I'm like, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to find someone meaner than. But so it is. I've had that more than once, where a woman's just
yeah,
like,
it's very common.
I need you to.
There's
Do you
so
want
there's
to be shamed by the woman during sex?
only religiously. I want her to.
Okay.
elaborate. I'm
No,
actually
Are,
just-
are you into like nun porn? Like,
I think I am. I've never pursued it.
okay.
really
I think nuns are so sexy.
how.
Why?
I don't know.
It's not the you're not
Intrinsically.
my boyfriend said the same thing to me.
That's
said something about
crazy.
like, oh, haha, nun costume, and I was like, for what?
For what?
For why? What part of that is attractive?
Is it
I
like
haven't.
their
I
chastity?
haven't examined it.
Their
Okay.
holiness?
I don't have an answer.
Okay.
Interesting. That's crazy. No, yeah, a lot of listen.
Because like
A
I
lot
could
of girls
understand
wanna
violating
play
their
with-
vow. Like I could understand being like, you have something that's
that's it.
important to you, and I want to violate that.
To be like as a man a conqueror, I'm the first
Yeah,
guy
sure.
to conquer that.
Sure.
Okay, so
Maybe.
it's virginity, maybe?
I think virginity is a weird one because I think when I was young, I was like, yeah, virgin. Now that I'm old, I'm like, oh, she's gonna be really bad at sex.
Yeah.
You want a woman who's had sex a couple times
At least once or twice.
Yeah.
I think it's an old Norm Macdonald joke. Is like there's a woman auctioning off her virginity for $1 million. You could have the worst sex of your life.
It's really true, actually.
Because it's when
It's kind of like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, it's when you're first starting out. You're the worst. That you're like, what do I do?
Yes, it's
I've
kind of
actually
like
never
filming-
been bad at anything, so I don't really understand that. But I'm sure you guys were bad at it at first.
Yeah, I get that. I understand.
It's kind of like when you're filming a lesbian scene with a girl who obviously isn't into girls, and it's like, this is
Oh.
the worst sex.
Yeah.
Please stop touching me. Like, it's
Yeah.
fucking annoying as shit. This is.
Which is crazy because I know lesbians who are incredible at straight porn.
Oh my god. The
Like
lesbian-
my friend Brooklyn
I think they're
Blows.
secret bisexuals.
Maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know. What's interesting
someone
about
who's
Brooklyn is
enjoys
they
many. Go ahead.
they love sucking dick, but they are a lesbian. Like they
So
are.
I think we need to
want
differentiate between
relationships with women.
sexuality and romantic attraction, because I genuinely believe a lot
Sure.
of people are more sexually fluid than they feel comfortable aligning themselves with or experiencing
Yeah.
or whatever, because right now it's very lumped. It's like if you're bisexual, you are attracted to men and women and whatever
Yeah.
variations in a romantic way. Where like I know a lot of people who like have like a singular gender romantic attraction, like that's the kind of person they would have as like a significant partner. But like they'll put some genitals in their mouth, they'll have a good time, they'll go to a party, they'll get down and dirty and
That's
have
like-
a really enjoyable, like genuine connection for that moment.
That's
You know?
Yeah, that's 100% me. I like hanging out with my bros, but
Sure.
I like having sex with women.
That's not
Yeah,
So
you
it's
got
like
it.
I want to hang out with my
so
buddies
close.
all day,
So close.
but I'm sexually attracted to women. But I don't.
Do you not want to have a romantic
No,
relationship
I'm,
with a girl?
it's a bad joke.
Oh, okay.
I think he's just in the
you
closet,
for the
actually.
joke. I was there with you for the joke. I just wasn't
It's
sure
just
if it
in the
was
closet. It's
And
fine.
every
We'll get there.
guy listener was like, yeah, woo.
True. Yeah. I mean, because that's kind of how I feel. I've always been sort of sexually non-specific, but emotionally, I have romantic emotional relationships with men, and now one specific beautiful man.
Oh my god, you have a boyfriend?
I do, and he's
I-
Oh
great.
my god.
I've always one of my theories is I think all men are autistic and on the autism spectrum, and all women are bisexual on the bisexual spectrum. So when you're like, I have sex with men right now, like I'm like,
I have a theory.
oh, okay, that's just how our autism manifests in the genders.
Oh, you mean like bisexuality is a
Dog, what
version
the
of
fuck are you
autism for women?
I'm coming up with theories off the top of my dome. What are you
I
talking
like it.
I have a theory that
Yes.
like way more men are sexually fluid or curious or whatever than they are willing to admit, because then the as a performer who had a consistent like male partner in their
Yeah.
performance, then the ratio of people who were interested exclusively in couples content or in content where the dick was featured was very, very significant. So many people were more interested in the penis of it all, and I was basically used as a proxy, so it quote wasn't gay. But like,
oh,
yeah,
it's because a lot of guys don't like lesbian porn, and
'Cause there's no dick.
There needs to be a dick.
right. Well, I think that has to do with putting themselves in their shoes.
Yeah, I like.
I think like they like a lot of like if you're watching porn, it's because you need to be able to put yourself in one of the positions. You know what I mean?
I think it's also just like that's a normal straight thing. It's like, yeah, I'm a big tall black guy, and that's me having sex with that woman. That's a normal man feeling.
You like to pretend to be a big, tall black guy?
I don't even pretend. I just it's just
just
I
know
just it just is. How did you?
He puts on the VR goggles. Oh man, I cannot wait. I meant to get started in VR porn a while ago, and
So I've told you my AVN VR story, right?
no.
This was back in 2015 when VR like still hadn't popped off, and I went to one of the booths at
How many AVNs have you been to?
only the one.
Oh, okay.
And I went to one of the booths, and they had like a live. It was like a live cam girl
Yep.
in a VR. So say they had like a 3D camera in her room, and then you put on the VR goggles, and you could look around the room, which is stupid because like, okay, I can look forward where she is, or I could look to the wall, or I could look behind me where there's nothing.
Where it gets really cool though
Well,
Go ahead.
and so they had me put on the goggles, and so you had a microphone too, so you could talk to her and ask her to do stuff.
Amazing.
But like within 10 seconds, I found out it was like, oh, this is like some poor Romanian girl who only knows sex English.
Yeah.
Because I was like, hey, can you open the window? What's in that drawer? Pull out something from the drawer. Your bed's a little. I like kept messing, and the guy was like, all right, buddy, come on, are you gonna like talk sexy to her? I'm like, no. I'm like,
No,
this
I'm
is
curious.
This is how I get work.
being.
I'm like, I'm nervous, and so the people in line behind me were laughing because not at her, but at me.
No,
like
at you,
goofing.
Yeah.
And I was just like, put that lampshade on your head. Do like a weird. It's just.
God.
And she was just like, oh yeah, baby, let me touch my tits for you. And I was like, no,
I
grab the
used to do
lampshade.
live cam. Like that's where I started online was cam shows.
And I bet you hated people like me, little 14-year-old boys trolling in the comments.
I don't. You had to have an ID to get on those sites.
I'm just saying that I've been a troll since forever.
Oh, okay,
so and I still
A lot of them
Sorry,
are
I took that too
emotionally
literally.
14.
Yes.
I'm 36
So-
and I'm still a 14-year-old
Yes
boy,
and no.
I'm
Yeah,
still
that's true.
I'm still DMing OnlyFans women. I'm like,
Haha, put the
do you-
lampshade on your head.
Do you believe in Bigfoot? Like, just,
I actually love those people on OnlyFans. I love chatting with my like supporters or fans or whatever, and like just talking absolute shit with them. So streaming, so camming, yes and no. If I could, if first of all, if you were tipping, I don't give a fuck what you were telling me. I didn't give a shit. Second of all, pro tip. So seriously,
Money will buy you anything.
if you are consistent with tipping and like being respectful of their time and like not monopolizing the room or anything, you can literally talk about anything.
what do you mean monopolizing the room?
If you
Is this like when on Twitch when you start and then someone starts trauma dumping and you're
Yes.
like, hey, you're bumming the room out, you're
Yes.
drying up all the money.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So one fascinating thing about sex work is, in my opinion, it is obviously it's a service industry in a lot of ways, but it's also a care industry.
Yeah.
The most money I make from people and like my most consistent regulars, 80% of it is chit chat. We talk about their problems. They are literally, I don't want to say I'm their therapist. That's taking it a little far, but I am someone who they confide in, who they process things with. More than anything, people are fucking lonely.
We had that. I learned something about myself.
Yeah.
20
There you
minutes
go.
ago. And I'm like,
It's a lot of
talked with-
processing. It's a lot of it's a genuine like emotional discovery for a lot of people.
I've
But like,
talked to a therapist before.
I'm really proud of you.
And I only went once.
Why?
I didn't have enough money.
That's so fair.
But I've always said, when I was looking for a therapist, I'm like, I don't want to talk to another. I could talk to another man as my friend, like
Sure.
go get beers or whatever. And I do. I like talking to my bros. But when I was looking for a therapist, I'm like, I gotta find the hottest, biggest boob therapist, and I did, and I had a great time
Did it
talking
help?
to her. Oh, absolutely! And I opened up immediately
Why?
because she had big boobs and was hot, and I like talking to women with big boobs. I like talking to women of all boobs, but it's probably because of my mom issues.
Oh, it felt like a maternal kind of thing.
So,
Interesting.
But anyway, sorry, it was a therapy. I'm telling you, as a guy, find a therapist with big boobs.
Did it
that
help
is
you, like,
not
get into it?
universal advice.
I mean, if it sounds right. If it doesn't sound right,
Don't
then
try
don't
to
do
fuck
it.
your therapist.
I didn't say that.
He wasn't trying to fuck his therapist. He
I
was just
would
saying
if
that.
she offered.
Oh, okay.
But that goes for any woman. If there's like a garbage woman,
Sure. If any woman was like, let's have sex now, you would say yes.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any restrictions with that? Like, is there any type of woman?
I'm picky.
Oh, you are.
But that's my surfer
Wait.
thing.
Okay.
It's like
Any woman within your sexual
that
preference.
I like. That I'm like, yeah.
Oh, okay. So not any woman ever.
Not any woman ever.
Okay.
But also, I'm a man, so I can get got. I'm a month and a half in a nofap.
Currently,
I think
right
the
now.
longest I've gone
Wow.
without sex and without jerking off or like having any kind of orgasm at all since I started having sex for fun on purpose, I think was probably like 2 weeks max.
That's a common
I think I would fucking kill myself.
It's very funny when women we'll post like a TikTok and be like, I haven't had sex for 2 months. It's insane. And then you see like guys who are like in the comments like, I haven't felt the touch of a woman in 8 years.
That is listen, I have a huge gripe. I have a big bone to pick with men. And it is that why do you guys not touch each other more?
It's gay. What are you talking
Point
about?
blank.
the lack of platonic physical affection among men is so striking and so scary.
Yeah.
To me,
It really is.
the fact that I am able to lay like my head on my friend's lap and they can like kind of like pet me and it's like just this kind of warm affection, or I can like lay down with my sister, or like we're watching a movie and I can snuggle up with someone and there's just this really, really like genuine kindness and affection there that is obviously non-sexual, is completely platonic, and it's so critical for humans. And the fact that so many men lack that in such a like deep fundamental way is just so absent from their lives, and it's terrifying.
This is why I think it's like women are allowed to have relationships who like they could be friends with a man because they're fulfilled. They're fulfilled in all the other areas, where when a man finds a woman who is friendly, he's like, okay, but also I have all the I have
all
backup
these needs that
I have
haven't been met.
a flood of needs that
That's a really interesting point.
I've never thought of it
he's
that
like,
way.
Yeah, me
actually.
neither.
he goes, I love you, and then she runs away and she's like, well, back to normalcy where I
have so much affection and love and intimacy that is platonic, and I don't need to seek that from. Yeah, that's a really interesting point.
but it is what it is.
No, I don't think it is, Mac. Actually, I don't think it is.
No, I'm saying that I say it is what it is when it like comes to that's how the world is, and you should.
That's
Sure,
how
it
the
is
cookie
currently,
crumbles.
but it could be different.
I'm saying, and I'm not saying anyone. There's nothing that we shouldn't have like sweeping changes. It's like, hey, look at what it is and figure out how to make that work for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's
Go suck your friend's dick as a buddy.
As bros.
Just two straight guys.
Listen, I'm just
Have
saying
a couple beers.
you can change those things on a very, very tiny level and start significant systemic changes by making tiny That's one thing that Girl Scout taught me, actually.
Oh, are you
Is
Girl
that-
Scout?
Make the world a better place.
Make the world about it. You think globally, but you act locally.
Think globally, act locally.
And you know what
Oh.
else? You're always prepared.
Are there ranks in Girl Scouts?
Yes.
No, not ranks. There's
I'm
like
getting
age
conflicting.
age distinctions.
Oh, okay.
I bet we can
there's
do
like
the.
group- there's like
do you
group.
think you can do the? On my honor,
I will try to serve God and my country, to help people at all times, and to live by the Girl
Do you
Scout
think you
law.
remember the Girl Scout
You
law?
stole that from us, the Boy Scouts.
Yeah,
On
okay,
my
first
honor,
off,
I will
sir-
do my best to
No,
do
no,
my
no.
duty to God and my country, to help other people at all times, to serve my. So I forgot the rest of it.
Sir Robert Powell
Robert Powell.
Yeah, Robert,
helped Juliet Gordon Low make Girl Scouts.
Oh,
There was no theft involved.
you call.
Yeah. So
Thank you very much.
um,
Do you think you can do the law?
um,
I will do my best,
best
to be honest and
fair,
friendly and helpful, considerate and caring, courageous and strong, responsible for what I say and do, to respect myself and others, respect authority, use resources wisely, make the world a better place, and be a sister to every Girl Scout.
Wow.
Fuck yeah.
The cookies are good.
Cookies are good.
I have to say, I sold. So there's like if you sell over 1,000 boxes of cookies, you get a
single pearl on a necklace because Juliet
Daisy,
Gordon Low.
she had a string of pearls that she sold in order to start Girl Scouts.
Fund it.
And so if you make enough money for Girl Scouts,
It was Juliet
1,000
Gordon
bucks.
Low.
Yeah, and her nickname was Daisy.
You know what? You're right. You are so right. I'm so sorry.
and
Girl Scouts is still going strong, right?
Hell yeah, it is.
Boy Scouts is dead.
Because of
Pretty
all
good.
the rape.
Oh, there's that.
and also
but also
because they let the girls in.
well, kind of.
Literally, yeah.
They let they started letting like gay. This is the reasoning why they started letting gay and like girls in, like gay boys.
Because
And, like,
there's this thing called Adventure Scouts.
I don't.
That should have been a third
Which is
separate
crazy
thing.
to me. Why we so like
Wait, hold on. I want to make sure that it's known. Ivy sold,
oh yeah, I
Oh.
sold
1,000
over
boxes of
1,000 boxes of cookies twice.
Nice.
yeah, and she got her pearl. Anyway,
so
so now
the majority of
That was the end of the
Boy
story.
Scout America
Love you
funding,
very much.
like I don't know. I'm. This is like a guess. It's like 70 to 80% of like the funding for Boy Scouts of America was from the Mormon Church. They were all in, and so when the Boy Scouts were
What?
like,
Why?
yeah, it was a huge. Mormons and Boy Scouts were like
Why?
together. It just naturally happened, and so
Just
when
natural selection.
when the Boy Scouts were like,
I'm
yeah, we're
looking
gonna
this
let gay guys be in the Scouts, whatever, and Mormons like, no, you're not, and like, yeah, we are, and so they split ways,
Wow,
and so Boy Scouts of America lost like.
that's crazy.
A
Yeah, because their
majority.
popcorn does not make much money.
No, but I will say I did sell a bunch of it. So my mom,
Our older,
mom,
our older
But I say
brothers. were-
props to both groups for standing up for what they believe in.
Honestly, an adventure scouts is
Yep,
boys
you're
and
so
girls.
Yeah, I
correct.
remember hearing about that.
it's
And
you're
it's-
right.
To me, I
20%.
genuinely believe that it is important for kids to experience childhood with their peers in small groups.
Like going out and doing activities and
I
weird
think
shit.
that it is valuable for boys to spend time with boys and girls to spend time with girls. And I know that there are people in between, and I think that it's important for them to spend time with their peers as well. I'm just saying I think that it is valuable for little boys to go out into the woods with other boys and be
during puberty,
boys
having a
together.
safety zone is very important.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
That being said,
that whole thing about I have this backlog of affection and needs that isn't being met.
Yeah.
And so as soon as a girl is there at camp, it's weird. It's not the same. There's tension, there's possible conflict. Like
all guys, this would happen. We would have like a female counselor. And like all the scout, we'd all like try and be like, look how much garbage I'm holding. Look how much.
Exactly.
I don't think
And you
there's
were
anything wrong with
11
that.
years old, and that female counselor was 18 to 25
feel
and
like
was there as an, you
that's
know what I
part
mean?
of the normal puberty experience.
Yeah.
Too, though.
Yeah, but if there was another 11-year-old girl there, that wouldn't be the normal puberty experience. They would be, look at a 11-year-old girl, look at how much I'm carrying. That's more viable to you know what I mean? I just think that it is important for little girls to go and spend time and be little girls in the woods together, and for little boys to go do that
I think
as well.
everyone should go camping.
I agree. I think that
think so,
every
too.
child should have to visit a farm, a factory, like a
Oh.
meat production farm,
See how the
start
hot
to
dogs are
finish.
made.
Whoa.
Yes, I believe that every
Big news. Sorry, finish. What you're saying.
I think that people need to see where their food comes from. I think people need to watch humans pick vegetables out of the ground, pull fruit off of trees, put them in a box. You know what I mean? Like I think the distance between consumption and creation is so significant that people have no concept of like what is required.
I'm part of a hunt club in Virginia, where I'm from.
Yeah.
And last year I got to help clean some of the deer.
Ooh.
And so they do
didn't
it
get to
from
help.
start to finish. We hunt, we process, package, and everyone who participates, whether you just clean, whether you just hunt, whether you do all of it, you get part of the meat.
Hell
And
yeah.
whatever is
It's
left over
amazing.
gets taken to the the food bank.
Have you guys seen the video of the guy shooting a bear out of a tree and then him and the woman fuck on top of the bear?
I don't want to see that.
No.
That is
It's a crazy
horrifying.
I
video.
haven't seen that. Is that America?
No, it's
Yeah.
got to be Russia.
No, I think it's
No,
American.
it's got to be Russia.
Maybe. I think they like bears
That's
over
wild.
there. It feels like, in my mind, it feels like it was porn, but then I think it's just like a crazy video.
Crazy people doing crazy
Yeah.
things.
Anyway,
My
Ivy
point
Tan to
is-
hide.
So my point is that
That's horrifying.
I've seen lots of videos online.
I bet you have. I bet you have, Matt.
I've seen one or two videos.
You know what 4chan is. You've
It's really cool to be a part of the entire process, and to, when you get to eat that meat, know where it came from. It
Yeah.
grew up in the woods I grew up in, and it's just I don't not buy meat from the store, because to fill out my diet we just don't we're not set up to completely feed ourselves off of our own land, but
Yeah.
it's nice to substitute some of it and to be a part. I think my sister's right. People are so disconnected from where their food comes from.
I think it's with every industry, too.
Oh,
Porn industry.
You know what? I
Everything
was
is
just
so
talking to my friend
compartmentalized.
about posting the consent talks, which is the discussions we have before we film, and
A lot of mainstream has kind of
started doing that,
but they
yeah.
started doing it as separate videos.
right, which I don't dislike. I was thinking about posting all my consent talks on Pornhub just as watch us talk about it, because I'm on the fence between showing people how the sausage is made, and it does feel like the expectation to be responsible for the. I think we must
Porn
tread
is
very
not
lightly.
sex ed.
Porn is not
Porn
sex ed,
is not
and we
sex
must
ed.
tread very lightly on
What?
what we.
Everything I learned in the bedroom, all my
Came
moves.
from porn. Exactly, because you're a Mormon. Yeah.
Yeah, then my talk was, here's how, this was my sex talk, is
I'm so ready for this.
I was like I was 13 or 14 again, and my parents, I think my mom was like, hey, he's on the computer being weird. So my dad went through my history, because this is before we even knew what like history, like this was before like incognito mode, and my dad spent 4 hours going through he's like, hey, you need to go to your room, and I'm like, oh shit. And so I remember sitting in my room like just sweating bullets, and then like after a while I'm like, am I gonna, and I don't want to go like leave my room and go talk to him, so I don't like, but he spent 4 hours going through my browser history.
That's terrifying.
Probably like writing, oh man, this guy's got good taste. Like, and then he came into my room and he gave me the normal like, hey, don't try not to do that. All right, be good. Like,
Seriously?
Yeah, I was
Try
wondering.
not to do that. All right, be good.
I
Yeah,
gave you your sex talk, right?
What?
You
My whole life was a sex talk.
Yeah. I
That's
never
your whole
really got
sex
a
talk?
sex talk.
Yeah, it was
Me
very,
neither.
it was very like.
That's so funny. My introduction to
So, anyways,
But I don't think there's a right or wrong answer for every kid. It's like you got to figure
I
out.
think there's some wronger answers.
There's some wronger, but it's like you got to pay attention to each one of your kids and be like,
Yes.
all right, I gotta talk to this fucking freak differently than I gotta talk to
It's not a
all my
one size
normal
fits all
kids.
for sure. There
I
are some
never
core
really
things
got
that are
a sex
required.
talk. I didn't get much from my parents
So
when I was
true.
a kid. I was the youngest of five, but there were lots of.
There's a 15-year gap between her, the youngest, and the oldest.
Wow.
And the first three are the three boys. And
So
then
you
it was
got,
us
you got
two.
some grandbrothers.
yes,
Exactly.
and so not only so it was like the three
By
boys
time they
are
were
like
at
5 years
me-
are all 5 years apart, and then there were also like 4 or 5 other boys that kind of just got adopted. So we were raised
Wow.
with
Not legally.
not legally,
They were just
but,
always at our
but
house.
like they still call our
and-
parents mom and dad
Yeah, I
and
get
stuff.
that.
So like
Yeah.
you know, so
It's
like
just by
Ivy
the time my
was, like, a
parents
single
got to
child,
me, they
basically.
were just like, I don't die, don't do
After,
drugs, like just be. And I
Yeah.
was like, I don't want to do drugs, and they were like, great, please just fucking.
between the addicts, between all the weird stuff, Ivy was sort of a like, you're good,
They were
right?
just
Yeah.
glad that I was passing my classes.
It's also
Yeah.
like when you're the youngest, they don't like.
Also,
Yeah.
dad was somewhere, I don't know, and mom's just unwell. So like,
yeah, it was hard.
it was. Ivy moved in with me.
my sister did do a lot of the parenting of me,
Nice.
raised that bitch.
which is probably why
Did
I'm
you-
as fucked up as I am.
Did either of you have the high school sex ed teacher?
I
went to
dropped out
private
after
schools.
10th grade.
Okay.
I went to a Catholic elementary and
Oh,
middle
so
school, and then I
absolutely
went to an
not.
Episcopal high school.
So no, I had a Mormon lesbian woman as my health teacher.
Is that allowed?
It's allowed.
allowed?
It's allowed, but they frown. So the Mormons are like, when it comes to gay people, they're like, we understand that God has given you this test
Oh.
and these urges, and it's like you shouldn't act on them. We still love you, which is always the Christian cop out.
Yeah,
We still love you. We just don't
still
love your
love you.
lifestyle.
we
Like,
just think that you're a sinner, and
well, if you sin,
if you sin,
you can have those thoughts all day.
right?
But
Quick question.
yeah,
Which is an interesting.
this is we're near the end. If you need to, oh okay.
That is an interesting differentiation. Is like
Sorry, keep on
you
talking.
have these urges in your brain, but you don't act on them. Are you like let's talk not lesbianism?
I
Let's
have-
talk like bad things. Like
I
you
have,
have
I have gay thoughts all the time, and I don't act on them because I'm not gay.
okay, sure. Let's say you have like brain thoughts of like I want to hurt this person,
Yeah.
but you don't act on them. Are you?
I think that's common for a man. He's like, I gotta kill that guy. Well, don't
It's
kill
common
that
for a
guy.
lot of people.
Yeah, so it's
yeah, I
like,
mean, I feel that way all the time.
that's
The
called
violence is-
intrusive thoughts.
Does that make you
No,
are you
yeah,
a
I
bad
think-
person
no,
or
I
are
think
you a
it
good
ma-
person?
I think it's
I
normal.
don't believe
to
in
have,
bad people.
I think it's normal to have like a thought enter your brain and exit your
Cool
brain
take.
and not act on it.
I don't believe in bad people.
Cool take.
It's not a cool take. It's not a take. It's a literal belief.
That you don't believe in bad people.
I believe in maybe 1 in every 10 million people could be qualified as bad in their core at the like fundamental essence of their being. I don't believe I believe people do things that hurt other people. I
Yeah.
don't believe in bad people.
Okay, I see where you're going with.
You
but,
can do a lot of harm and you can be someone who has
We've
done
had
a lot
hours
of
of this conversation,
but
and we just fundamentally disagree on this.
you think some people are born bad?
I think that
They just have the
harm.
genetic.
I think
they
some
have
people are
the
born
evil
bad, but I think
gene.
it's just a really, 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 really small percentage.
I think that some people are broken in their brain.
I
They
agree with that.
are
Yeah. It's a,
and
we could debate ever nurture versus nature.
sure.
Cows go home.
But either way, I think that some people are broken, and I think that some people are broken to the point of disrepair. Some cars get totaled and you don't fix them.
Able to make that distinction for someone though.
Sure.
That's true.
Me not able to.
Yeah,
Maybe.
that's what I'm saying. You are not someone who has the
But that
authority
doesn't mean
to
I
decide.
can't think that they exist.
Sure. Yes, you can think that they exist, but you cannot decide
think that
when
some
someone
people
is
are
past
beyond
the
saving.
point of that.
But you can personally.
Exactly.
But you can't force that to. You cannot.
But I could see like, hey, yo, that guy's ugly.
Sure, you can think whatever you want.
That's an
but
ugly
I'm just
guy.
saying,
That's an
you
ugly
don't get to
motherfucker.
justify harm coming to someone because you have decided that they are irredeemable because you do not have.
So you're anti-death penalty.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, she
I
is.
also.
And you're pro-death
I'm pro
penalty.
death penalty.
I also am very. I don't think punishment should be used. I don't think harm
I don't
is
think-
beneficial.
I don't think punishment. Like I think isolation is a terrible.
It is
like,
literal torture.
Yeah.
That's torture.
And I
solitary
think-
confinement is
I think
literal
if you're-
torture.
if
It's not
you're
even
going
torture
to-
for a guy like me.
That's
I'm
just
used to
how
it.
you live. That's just how it is. I think if you're gonna do that to someone, you might as well just fucking kill them. Like
Alright.
if you're going to,
This is
because
a-
I
that's
do
just
think you should.
further
If you get
damage.
life in prison, you should be able to opt into the death penalty.
Oh, there's a take.
That's a hot take that I agree with. That's something.
If you
I agree
have-
with.
You want to
if
give
you-
him the easy out.
If you get consecutive life sentences, because
Well, 'cause it's not-
that's torture.
Well, here's also
you should be able to
something
fucking
that
kill
I
yourself.
think. I think suicide should always be an option to every person.
Well, I mean, sure it is.
Including if you've gotten the
Oh,
death
okay,
penalty
okay. It is-
and
it's
if
like a
you're
God-given
terminally
right,
ill.
yeah.
Yes,
I mean,
I think all of those should be available.
What about assisted suicide
I think that should be available.
to anyone for any reason?
If that person wants to die, that is the only thing we have
So
control
here's
over.
What,
my
if,
thing,
what if
though.
there's a Gypsy Rose Blanche and her mom says you want to die?
I don't.
Is that her name?
Yes, and I
don't-
agree. That
see,
is a very specific. nuanced
so my
situation.
take on that. Conceptually, I agree. You have absolute autonomy over your physical being, and if you, we're gonna get into some Camus here. If
Oh, philosophy. I don't know anything.
I don't know anything either. I've never known anything.
Oh.
Jinx.
If you are of sound mind to make that decision,
Oh.
that is not a decision you would make.
Yes, I agree.
Because
So-
if you believe that life is worth living, then you are alive because you believe life is worth living. And if you do not believe life is worth, like, you know what I'm saying? So like you can't be of sound mind and decide to kill yourself. It
I
is an
agree.
inherently contradictory experience.
I agree.
Oxymoronic.
I don't think that I think that everyone should be allowed to opt out of life whenever they want. I haven't
Sure.
delved in. So
I
have,
just noticed that you're wearing like a skeleton and the boots, and it is a very goth take.
Thank you. Thank you.
For anyone to be like, I think you should be able to opt out whenever you want.
Well, I mean,
I don't think the government should have anything to do with it. I'm just saying
Oh.
I don't think the
I don't
government
think the government should have anything
anything.
to do with anything.
All right.
Oh wait,
Hey.
one more.
We could debate philosophy forever, but that's the end of the podcast.
Okay.
Great, we can do death penalty next time.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll,
Alright.
we'll talk about the death penalty. all
Amazing,
next
death
time.
penalty next time in pedophiles.
Thank you so much for joining. I feel like I discovered a little bit about myself. We learned about the
Yay.
porn industry. I didn't even get to that many questions.
Sorry, we kind of
No, it's fine.
we
thank
talk
you.
a lot.
Thank you, Ivy.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Alice. Do you have anything to plug? Either of you? Down in the
I'm about to be a emergency medical technician. I just got
Whoa.
certified in my EMT basic.
so
I'm
if,
really proud of you.
So I'm
you
gonna
want-
make
if
so
someone gets
little money.
hurt, they might bump into you.
Yes, they might. I'm gonna make so little money, and my number one contributor to my life is my sister. So if you want to support either of us, give her money, please.
So true. Someone asked me what I spent, like what the thing that I spent the most money on in my life was, and immediately I was like, does my sister count?
Yeah, it's a good answer.
Yeah, I have an OnlyFans. You can see me naked if you want.
Whoa!
Whoa!
What the hell?
That's a little bit out of left
crazy.
field.
That's weird. You can see me put all sorts of things, all sorts of places.
Interesting.
But mostly I'll talk to you for a long time and we can become friends. It's mostly what I do, actually.
No.
It's most of it.
All your links will be down in the comments below or down in the description. I can find you online. Pretty easy to find. I've found you accidentally a whole bunch of times.
Gosh.
It's also funny because now, this is just this is a meme man kind of like a
my God.
dumb man guy thing. Is like I'll be scrolling through a thread and I'll sometimes I'll see you and I'm like, oh no, I've humanized that person. And I can't.
Yep.
I can't.
I can't watch X-Files with them. I
Yes.
can't do this.
I can't be like gross and you know.
Recognizing the set that a porn is being shot on.
Oh, does that ruin it for you?
ruins
Weird.
it for me.
Yeah, no, mine is seeing someone, and it's more like I've met a few porn actresses and actors,
Classy.
and it's
Classy
like,
words to choose.
and so I'm just like, man, they're so hot, but it's
so
like I
funny.
see them as a person with a soul and beautiful thoughts and ideas, and I can't debase myself and them. So
Thanks for not debasing me, buddy.
You're welcome anytime. Well, you know what? Hey, you ruined it for me. But yeah, follow Alice online. Subscribe. Talk to her. Say something funny. Don't be mean.
Or just keep tipping me.
No, just thank you so much for being on, for talking. I feel like we got a lot out.
Yeah.
We learned a lot. That's the podcast.
Thanks so much.
That's the podcast.
That's the podcast.
Wait, shirts. It's still the sale will be over by the time this is out. Buy some merch. Cowboyboys.store.
It's actually really good.
Buy his merch.
I actually got some shirts because they're really good
you.
shirts. Like I'm giving 2 to my friends. They're really good designs.
I designed them with the intention of like, you don't need to be a fan of the podcast to wear. And then subscribe to the Patreon. There's Patreon episodes.
Subscribe to his fucking
Subscribe
Patreon.
to his Patreon.
All right, everybody. That's the podcast. Yeehaw.
That's the podcast.